So,
So first, namaskar to everyone.
namaskar.
Okay, before we dive in too much into the technical part of it, I would like to talk on the big pictures of the problem that is facing everybody in the world today. I think if people following the what's happening in the world closely, they will realize now that the existing paradigm is in its last chapter, it's in a declining stage. The economic model, the capitalist model, is not able to sustain itself. So everybody is looking for what is the best sustainable economic model that we could transition to. But because we were so much influenced by the capitalist mind frame, I think all of us unknowingly was influenced by two main schools of thought. That is Charles Darwin, survival of the fittest, and another one is Malthusian economic, where he found out that all the resource in the world is not enough for everybody. I think with these two school of thoughts, it gives justification for colonization and exploitation. And even what's happening in the geopolitical world today is driven by these two school of thoughts. That is why if we're going to move to sustainable economic model, we have to move first toward renewable energy. Without renewable energy, all the resource is not going to be enough. If we remain in a fossil fuel age, it's more or less everybody thinks that vital resource such as energy is not enough for everybody. And that is why there's lots of conflict, a lot of competition, a lot of war. The escalation of war is increasing alarmingly. So we need to move as quick as possible to renewable energy age. And to be able, so I've spent 20 years on these problems. And I home in on one technology, that is vanadium redox flow. I think vanadium regenerative fuel cells is the enabler of renewable energy. It can make the sustainability become a reality. And here is the main difference in mindset. If we can prove that renewable energy is practical today and economically viable today, we are negating Malthus immediately. We are showing that vital resources as energy can be infinite. So there's no need to exploit, there's no need for war. And the more I work on vanadium redox flow, the more I have more confidence on this technology. Because number one, vanadium redox flow has indefinite shelf life. What it does is that it works on the reduction oxidation stage. Vanadium has a very unique property. It has 4 oxidation stage: V2O2, V2O3, V2O4, V2O5. So when we make it neutral, we make the vanadium electrolyte on the positive side at V2O4 and on the negative side V2O3. When we put in electricity, the positive side will move from V2O4 to V2O5 and V2O3 to V2O2. And this gives an electrical potential. And once you release it to electrolyte into the cell, it will release electricity, and the reduction oxidation will come back to where it was previously exists. Like V2O5 will come back to V2O4, O2 will come back to O3. This phenomena has no phase change, no liquid to gas, no liquid to solid. So there's no memory effect. You can do this a million times. It doesn't deteriorate or deteriorate at all. I think this is very crucial for energy system. Number one attribute it needs to have is that it must be very resilient. It must be very reliable. So once we can be able to store as much as we want, as and the most cheapest, because when you want, as if you have, let's say, you have 5 kilowatt for 2 hours, and you want to extend it to 3 days, like 36 hours, you just increase the electrolyte. So it means that this system, the more energy you store, the cheaper average cost it will be. So number one, it has no shelf life. Number two, it's the cheapest method of store a large amount of electricity. With this system, with this technology, it has so many useful applications as it shows. Number one, you can integrate all types of renewable because renewable have this very common characteristic. It's very intermittent. So you don't know when the sun will shine and when the wind will come. So very intermittent nature. In a normal battery, when it receives lots of microcycle, charge discharge, the life deteriorates very quickly. But with this, you don't have that. So you can integrate renewable into the system. You can even link with the grid. And you can use that as a core infrastructure for the smart grid system to facilitate two-way flow of electricity and information, and to act as the main station for electrical mobile, like electric car. Okay, our technology that we're working on is cover not only the cell architecture, how to make electrolyte cheaply. We also have the patents cover conversion, electrical conversion. You can charge this battery directly as AC, and you can discharge it as AC or DC as you wish directly. You don't need a normal inverter, and you can move the volt up. You can charge it, let's say, at 1.6 volts, and you can move the volt up to 220 volts or 600 volts, up to you. And you can have as much frequency as you wish, from 60 hertz to 6,000 hertz if you want. After 20 years of work on this, we accumulate about 20 world patents at the moment. And we're licensing Selenium Thailand as exclusive to start commercial production in Thailand. And now we will expand it to ASEAN, India, and Japan as a first phase. That is just to show you the power conversion system, very simple. And this reduction oxidation platform is so amazing that not only you can store and power conversion, you can also have complete electrochemical combustion out of this technology also. We have one patent now in America to do this, because not only you can charge this battery electrically, you can charge this battery chemically. I mean, in the reduction part, by exposing electrolyte to carbohydrate, any type of carbohydrates, we will call a reduction of vanadium from V2O4 to 2O3. And when you react oxygen from air with vanadium V2O4, it will oxidize to V2O5 completely with 42% efficiency. When we bought this patent, the conversion time took very long. It took about 55 hours. And we need platinum as a catalyst. Now we are able to reduce it down to 3 minutes without platinum. Just use sound wave. That's a prototype of the sugar fuel cell that we have. and 42% conversion is very high. When you look at the combustion engine today, it has only about 18% at the most. And this you can gain about 42%. The maximum physical limits of this is about 52%. So very close to the ideal. Now we'll be working on a residential scale, 5 kilowatt down, and we can scale up to megawatt size. We are about to do the project for Provincial Electric Authority, the monopoly of the electric power grid in Thailand. We will conclude a deal with them this month for two projects. One is the solar house, and one is the grid scale, 100 kilowatt, 2 hours. So you can look at the main attributes of our technology versus others. There's lots of differences, but all in all, it's much more superior and much more comprehensive in terms of its characteristics. I don't want to go into detail on that, but it's the most reliable, the most flexible system, and very scalable. And the next one is showing you the electric car, the electric mobile project that we undertaken with the PTT, Petroleum Authority of Thailand. The best storage is the vanadium fuel cells. I believe that now we are reaching the end of growth. The next paradigm shift will have to take place very soon. And I don't have to elaborate why I think it's the end of growth, because I think people can argue that now they found oil shales and they have fracking technology. That's only prolong the time, but at least cheap oil is gone. There'll be no more cheap oil. It will be very expensive very quickly as China and India demand coming in more and more. So we believe that storage and power conversion is the critical part for sustainability. The inspiration, of course, comes from Baba, Yasaka, from my Buddhist background, from our king. He is championing self-reliance, economic model. From E.F. Schumacher, a book, Small is Beautiful, Buddhist Economic, and from Buckminster Fuller, who believe in sustainable global ship Earth. And that's how it gives me the drive to focus on finding the solution. So I believe that each man must become the local problem solver of his own earth sphere. I believe this is the sacred activism that all of us should undertake, especially the new generation. But philosophical answer alone is not enough. Technical solution with economic viability is a must. And that's why with collaboration with Chai TV, Si Feng Fung, and he's here, he's my partner, we try to establish the first model of the village at Pattaya. We believe that to achieve real sustainability, of course, we have to start before renewable energy comes in. We must start with efficiency in the habitat. How can we make the building most efficient in terms of electrical consumption? In Thailand, we don't need heat. So we have to start with energy efficiency of the building. How can we make the building most efficient at the cheapest cost? And secondly, we can integrate renewable energy in. Thirdly, we need to recycle everything, solid, liquid, and gas. All the solid waste we make biogas and we make it to fertilizer. Our water can be recycling and reused. And when we generate electricity, no matter it be a combustion engine or steam engine, all the carbon dioxide will not be released into the atmosphere. We will feed that as a food for our algae uh, production. So with renewable and completely recycled, we are closer to uh, to sustainability. But more than that, once we achieve renewable and recycling everything, we must actively regenerate life forms. And the most useful thing to do is to start organic farming. What we do is that we go in and correct the soil. We even have a worm farm, making raising a lot of worms to make the soil better. Introduce the bees back to the biosphere. I think the sacred activism is the must. We must be actively introducing back biodiversity that has the best symbiosis with our life. The most pressing problem that all of us facing now is environment degradation. So by directly redesign our habitat is the most direct way that we will solve the problem at its core. We're working on subject since 1992, that was the first solar house. 1995, we exhibit the same concept but more elaborate. What we're trying to do is, the challenge was that renewable energy is very expensive. How can we make everybody able to afford renewable energy? So at that time, Thailand doesn't have the program incentives of buying electricity from any household. So we were introducing, we will use the renewable energy of the house to run a small intensive aquaculture farms. And that was built in 1995. And the latest one is the Eco Village at Horseshoe Points. When we did the Eco Village project, we received a grant. We were fortunate that we have the support from the Danish government. We never have any support from the Thai government, only from the Danish government. And we never asked them for any grant. They just give it to us. They learn what we're trying to do and they really like it. So they keep giving us the grant for the last 10 years. So that's why we're able to demonstrate all these concepts. The Eco Village, you see that triangle. What is symbolized is the carbon. I call it carbon belt. I look at carbon dioxide as a belt conveyor. You can create biomass out of carbon dioxide, and from the biomass, you can create energy. So man needs to manage this carbon cycle himself. Actually, it will if we focus on this aspect. Actually, by managing carbon belt, carbon as conveyor belt of biomass and energy, it will directly enhance man's wealth and well-being. Elaborate on that. We start with low energy house. We built three types of houses. Upper middle class, or low middle class. The upper middle class we built at Khun land in Pattaya. The middle part, the middle class house I built in my land in Rangsit Kongpat, and the lower middle class I built at National Housing. Before there were people who's going around building low energy house, but very expensive. The cost was 40,000 baht per square meter. I think that's way too much. Now we're able to show that the house can consume half of electricity by average, at only the direct cost of 10,000 baht, 1/4 of the price, ongoing price. And we will harness everything, biomass. In Kunchakiri land, you have a lot of trees, but we don't cut down the trees. We trim the trees, we trim the branches, and we trim the leaves. And all that, we can make charcoal out of it. And with the charcoal production, we get wood vinegar out of it. We have the best natural insect repellent out of it. It's very easy and very simple to do. The whole system not only going to produce you electricity, but will produce to you fuel, fertilizer, and food. We have a modular biogas generation. From the biogas, we can generate electricity, and we can make fertilizer. It makes the best organic fertilizer. And we found out that this whole system, when we start off, we want the main productivity we want to aim for was electricity. But when we found out it's the sludge that come out of the biogas, we need to sell as fertilizer. We've learned that 70% of the revenue will come from fertilizer, and 30% will be electricity. So actually, if that locality needs fertilizer, this model is more than viable. Kunchakiri also went ahead. The Thailand gave a incentive for solar farm. So Kunchakiri already went ahead and complete the 8 megawatt solar farm in his land. And we start working on algae. We see that for Thailand, hot and humid climates, if you want to obtain as much energy as possible, you can derive that directly from solar and also from biomass. And when we look at the biomass, we ask ourselves, what is the fastest growing biomass? It's algae. And when we see that, okay, algae can be grown in Thailand very easily, and what do we want from algae? Everybody, when they go after algae, they want oil to make biodiesel of algae. But the biomass of algae is really all carbohydrates. That's the first thing photosynthesis makes, by combining carbon molecule with the water molecule, it makes carbohydrate. That's the first compound element of photosynthesis. So in our case, carbohydrates are more important than oil because we have the technology that can convert carbohydrate directly into electricity. We don't need to make oil first and then burn oil to make electricity. We can use that carbohydrate and directly make electricity out of algae. So if you're going to do this in a serious way, growing algae, we don't want growing algae to compete with food production. So we grow algae, instead of horizontally, we grow it vertically. We want to say that with the investment in the most simple structure, how high can we do this, and what is the flaw? And we found that you can easily grow it vertically in the tubes. So we can not only that we get biomass to feed our biogas plant from the agricultural waste that we obtain from our farm, we can also make algae directly at that location. So the cost of retrieving is almost nil. But we found out another very big features out of these algae bioreactors, that when we have biogas, the methane purity is only about 50%. 40% will be mostly carbon dioxide. But because carbon dioxide is the food for algae, we can directly feed that biogas through the bioreactor, and algae will take all the carbon dioxide out of that biogas. So at the end of the tubes, your methane purity can come up more than 90% pure. So your biogas can be used as a compressed natural gas. In Thailand, the purity of methane that the PTT is selling is only 75%. With this technology, you can purify methane purity up to over 90%. And we also have the continuous charcoal production, where you can have another source of feeding carbon dioxide toward the algae, because it's directly correlate with their biomass growth. The more carbon dioxide you can feed to the algae bioreactor, the more biomass you can obtain. It grows very, very fast. It will double its own weight every 20 days. That shows the sort of the total system that we incorporate at Ramsey Compact. One of our partners, he successfully did run the whole town in Kusing in Austria based on biomass. And he's one of our partners. We're able to influence National Housing Authority to take us very seriously, and now they want to build, at least 10,000 houses a year based on this concept. We are in the process of working the detail out with them at the moment. We showed the concept of National Housing Authority. We had the whole, what we've designed is that each house will produce about 70 kilowatt hour a day electricity, about 14 kilowatt roof, solar roof. 5 hours you get 70, and combined with a small vertical wind turbine. And we have a storage of 60 kilowatt hour. But the whole house, we design all the loads. 3 bedrooms, 3 air conditioning variables, direct current compressor, and LED lighting. We design all the load for refrigerator, for ultra microwave, everything. The whole house will consume only 30 kilowatt hours. So what we do is that we design a house that produce double than what they consume. So they have about the owner will have about 30 kilowatt hour as an option to sell to the grid. Now the Thai government just announced yesterday that they will buy at 6.9 baht per kilowatt hour for 25 years. The cost of combining solar cell with the storage at the present price, and when you combine that as part of the house, it solves the problem of affordability, because they can buy, and pay the mortgage for 30 years, including solar cell, including the battery, and they can get only 4% interest rate instead of 8%, because you are green type of project. You have this green funding from the government. So the cost per kilowatt hour will be only 4.3 baht flat for the next 25 years. And the price that you can sell to the grid is 6.9 baht. So it's already economically viable to do this in Thailand. With this low price of PV in Thailand and the price of battery that we're able to optimize, the message is that it is already below grid parity in Thailand. And when you're able to achieve this in Thailand, it will be the same in India and neighboring countries. I think that the award you gave me when I was speaking at the university in Orissa, and that is an article that the governor he gave a press interview after signing MOU with us that National Housing want to do 10,000 units per year for the next 5 years. National Housing do an average about 60,000 to 70,000 units a year. The roadmap. So the first is that we try to use to have Thailand, because what I'm what I just said, normal people, when they listen, they always have this attitude that it's too good to be true. You can never really do this. So we have to do it successfully in Thailand, use Thailand as a showcase, and then we can duplicate it to other countries. And that's why I said that now with our advisor, we plan to increase the exclusive territorial rights to cover ASEAN, India, and Japan. And we're working with KPMG and UR to raise funds at the moment. And next slide is about my school. Because we have a school, we've been doing this for the last 30 years, kindergarten to sixth grade. So we see now that, to me, the real hope is in the next generation, the generation that's growing up. They need to they must have an awareness through their direct experience. We're now introducing recycling concept to them first. They're able to manage these little biogas plants, 100 kilogram a day feed at the school, and they can see that they can obtain biogas out of this waste, and they can get fertilizer out of this waste. That is the first phase of our Green Night project. That is that we try to raise the awareness of the children and their parents to the concept of recycling. Next, we will introduce them renewable energy. I will install vanadium battery and solar cell and wind turbine at the school, and with electric bicycle. So they will have a direct experience in harnessing energy directly from the atmosphere, and how can they manage the priority of the usage. And the next one is that we will introduce them germinate the seed, regenerate life forms. How to breed the fish, how to breed the worms, how to germinate the seed, so that they have direct experience of observing life itself. I think if we sort of like keep reinforcing this to the young mind, they will be best equipped as they go out and see, the witnessing the paradigm shift. Hopefully, they will take on the sacred activism that we try to introduce them to do. So when you're able to prove that now renewable energy is a reality today, it's technically viable, it's economically viable, the message that we put across is that it's more than enough for everybody. If we have sustained efforts in utilizing or accumulate knowledge of man, we have more than enough knowledge to solve all the world mundane problems. It's really the will. It's really the attitudes. So if we prove that renewable energy is real now, there's more than enough for everybody. There's no need to compete, to hoard. You can share. If you work with self-reliance, everybody becomes self-reliant. Then they can work on the surplus, and when they have surplus, you can share those surplus. It's a complete change in attitudes, and it can be practical. And we are fortunate that we have the king. Our king, he's still alive. He's very old, who really, really trying hard to advocate this. And I will be part of this movement, hopefully, by reinforcing his philosophy that, we have more than enough knowledge to solve all the mundane problems. It's just the will, it's just an attitude. And I think this concept need to be translated into educational curriculum. But most important is that you must expose in the young mind to direct experience of all of these things that I've been saying, and hopefully what we've learned here can be very useful to all of you, one way or another. So that's it that I can speak now. That so maybe
Thank you very
the
much.
forum. So if people have questions and can ask me and I can answer.
Yes.
Dada?
Yes. We will open the forum for question and answer.
Yes.
Okay. And next week we are going to have a global conference of Proud in Denmark, and I think they would be showing this presentation there also.
Because when you talk about proud, if you ask yourself, what will be the ultimate attributes of proud? To me, is that when you can recycle everything back, and based on renewable energy, and you can recycle everything back, solid, liquid, and gas, that's the ultimate, most progressive utilization of resource. Yes.
You mentioned educational programs for children, so inspired by yesterday's idea that children from other countries can come for such programs. Are you having such things in mind? Like international, involving sponsorship, children sponsorships from other countries to learn there, to get a training?
More than welcome. More than welcome. We don't have any international recognition or support yet. Only Thailand at the moment. And because my wife is very devout Buddhist, so and most of the children are Buddhist. So meditation is already very is an essential features of the educational system. They do that every day. What we want to do, and I've been asking Dada, my wife wants to introduce yoga, asana, to my school. I need a good open teacher to introduce yoga asana to my school.
Yeah. So, so there is interest that if we organize different children's group to visit the eco village and to see and to visit the school and also the Horseshoe Point eco village, so that they can see in practice how it is done. So there will be a possibility to do so in the future.
Horseshoe Point, they even have a dormitory built already to cater for lots of young people, and they can organize a program. Yes. But what my sentiment is that as we able to show the practicality of renewable energy age as a reality, it must go along with the new spiritual sentiment. With proud ideal, with practicing of sadhana asana along with this, so that there will be no more of further exploitation. They equipped with the sharing attitudes from the beginning. Yes.
Okay. This Sundara from Hong.
Do you think that your technology can also be used for the curing of the earth, because the soil is polluted, the air is polluted, the seas are polluted, the rivers are polluted? How do you see your technology of this moment as a use for this purification process of the earth? Or do you think we need more research using also your knowledge?
At this stage, for the soil and water, for sure, we already done the complete recycling of water And for the soil, in the land that I cultivate in Rangsit was one of the worst problem of soil degradation because it was probably used for plantation, orange plantation. They used so much chemical fertilizer and chemical pesticides that the soil was toxic. In the beginning, you cannot grow anything. But that is why, we systematically look at the problem of the soil and we correct the soil by organic fertilizer and with vermiculture. And, in a couple of years, now the soil coming back become very healthy. The problem with the soil in Thailand, the big problem of fertilizer is the phosphate. We have to import lots of phosphate from abroad, and this is where it's going to be next big problem in the world very soon because people think about we running out of oil, we're running out of gas, but nobody really pays attention that we're running out of rock phosphate in the next 20 years, and there's no substitute as a minerals. But now we found out that we can easily correct that. First, I was trying to build a back. We know that back dropping had a lot of phosphate. So how can we build an artificial cave in the back? But now that's not practical. We learned that by rearing quail or chicken and quail dropping have lots of phosphate, lots of nitrogen. And we can use that as a replacement of phosphate. And the soil is much, much healthier with that. So water recycling is a very mature technology. The problem is that the energy cost can be very high. But if you have the renewable energy system available where you can scale up, scale down accordingly, you can always recycle water. Water recycling, even water desalination is a very mature science. By having renewable energy system viable, you can do all of that. Next is carbon dioxide. We found out that carbon dioxide actually is very precious. It's what directly gives you a lot of biomass. With algae biomass, you can have lots of biogas, or you can have animal feed. The best animal feed there is from algae. We can grow spirulina in the tubes. Spirulina nutrition is much higher than soybean. So actually, for all the data needy use in Africa or South America who have a problem of malnutrition, this technology can be very beneficial. You can easily solve all those problems by making spirulina simply. But the change has to be a grassroots type of change. I don't think if you can, we will try to influence the politician as much as we can, or now the press as much as we can. But the real change will have to be all of us. Grassroots type of change is when the real change can occur fast enough. And at least if we can show, a demonstration model all over the world, spread the words, at this ideal, this sentiment, this meme spread, that's when I think there's a real hope for a better change.
One worry that I have is about the seas. The seas, yes. The pollution of the seas is not only
Oceans.
the oceans.
Yes, yes.
The oceans have been polluted with plastic in such a to such a level that an area like France has been covered with plastic. So that is pollution on the level of meter. But pollution has reached not only meter level, it has reached millimeter level, it has reached micro level, and it has reached almost nano level. So this means that the plankton inside the seas that are huge producers of oxygen is getting threatened.
Yes.
So what do you think about this?
For the problem of plastic, now in Thailand, there's a big move by a big corporation to change the plastic from inorganic to organic type of plastic. They make the new type of organic plastic from starch, you see. But the problem of the ocean is really much more complicated than that. It's really about overfishing, and it's about climate change. It has to be tackled on a global scale. But at least in Thailand, the way we see it, that if we make intensive agriculture more competitive than fishing in the sea, at least the fish stock will come back. So Thailand is probably now number one in intensive agriculture, in shrimp and tilapia at the moment. And catching fish from fishery is not economic anymore as the price of diesel increased dramatically. And I think it will be the same in all over the world. Agriculture is the key, and organic plastic is the key to approach that can help minimize the degradation. Yes.
Yeah, Maya from Indonesia.
Yes.
Thank you. I haven't seen your website, so I don't know if you have this part, but do you have also guidelines, even the technical guidelines for buildings in your website for the eco-village?
Yes, we have. We will have. We call for building. We call it OTTV, omission of thermal transfer value. I forgot the numbers, but we have. It's achievable at the very low cost. It's a matter of design, the geometry of the building, and also insulation. That's all.
Krisada, I am very interested in this integrating the Green Nights program in Gurukul in all our schools.
Yes.
This is the concept which he developed. He says, Green Crusaders. How we can take the new generation and make them Green Crusaders by equipping them with the knowledge and the tools and the understanding so that they can stand for this new types of solutions. So, so I'll be working on that with you and with your group, and also with some of our teachers. And
more than happy.
Yeah, and particularly we are missing Ajana, your wife, who is running a school of 500 children in Bangkok. Where he's trying to implement this. Could she come today, or is she there also?
She could not get herself from another meeting. I'm sorry, but she sent all of you her best regard, and anything that she can do, she's very spiritual. She's really want to do this, and I think our school can be one of the a demonstration model that you can duplicate, and it actually have a lot of impact. Impact is with the parents. Now the parents change because of the children change. It's very, very healthy. Yes.
I had the opportunity to visit her school last month, and I saw that it is actually one of the best schools in the whole province of Nonthaburi in Thailand. Did the best academic performance, and the children doing meditation, and she was very keen to come here and share, but anyway, she could not come. So any one or two more final questions, comments? Marilyn, something like to say a few words?
Yeah, hello, Krisada. I'm very happy to see you again, even at a distance.
Yes.
And you have inspired me so much that I have about 8 or 9 things I would like to talk to you about. And I don't think we should take everybody's time with that, but I promise to keep everybody informed. I will be in touch with you very soon.
Please know that all of this inspiration came from Baba. Somehow, I think he lights a fire somewhere.
I will never forget that.
I don't know exactly what happened, but it gives me very clear vision what I need to do, really. So what we are trying to do here is to plan what you want to see happening, really.
So, on behalf of our Global Education Summit here being held in Ydrefors, Sweden, and all the people who have come from 30 different countries, and they are really very pleased and very happy that you could spare the time to share this knowledge. And we hope that this is just the beginning of a new chapter, in our collaboration.
Yes, thank you for wanting to hear what I have to say.
Thank you.